Flanked by personal security, Clive Palmer walked into the federal court in Brisbane with characteristic bravado.
Yeah, can I say I'm very happy the High Court ruled in our favour yesterday.
But despite his expressed confidence, the businessman is in self-protection mode, under unprecedented scrutiny for his role in the collapse of Queensland Nickel.
Clearly the pressure is on him, so I suspect we're looking at potentially many years of litigation coming out of this.
We think Mr Palmer has been integral to a lot of the decision making. We think there are some live questions around the capacity in which he has been acting.
The Queensland Nickel refinery at Yabulu in North Queensland was shut down 6 months ago, when the last of its 550 workers were laid off. Many of the employees laid the blame for the financial disaster with the refinery's owner, Clive Palmer.
What Clive Palmer's done to us, I'm ashamed that I've done something to help him rob some of my workmates.
Queensland Nickel didn't have enough money to pay the $74 million owed in workers' redundancy entitlements, so the federal government made up some of the shortfall through its Fair Entitlements Guarantee Scheme. But many long-serving workers were shortchanged.
In some cases, there are people that have been at that refinery for 40 years that were owed, in and around $400,000. They might get a fraction under the Fair Entitlement Guarantee Scheme.
Even so, it's the biggest single payment ever made under that scheme. And so the Commonwealth applied to the federal court to appoint a special purpose liquidator to examine the prospect of getting some of the money back.
I would say this does put more pressure on Mr Palmer and the companies associated with him, because there is a very well-funded creditor who's behind this, which is the federal government.
This special purpose liquidator has been grilling Clive Palmer in the federal court this week, examining, amongst other things, whether he acted as a shadow director and traded while knowing the company was insolvent. After 4 days of intense cross-examination, Clive Palmer has conceded nothing. His testimony, in essence, is that he wasn't across the detail, he wasn't pulling the strings, and he was more focused on being a Member of Parliament. This hands-off defence surprises those who negotiated with Clive Palmer during Queensland Nickel's last days.
If that was the case, Clive Palmer wouldn't have been sitting in this very room on a couple of occasions talking to me about the operation of Queensland Nickel and the effect of things that, economic events and other events that were sort of transpiring would have on members of my union who were employed by Queensland Nickel.
He said in many of those cases he was acting as a Member of Parliament, concerned about the impact the closure of a large enterprise could have on the Townsville economy.
Well, that was never conveyed to me.
Clive Palmer's biographer can't comment directly on the court case, but argues Clive Palmer's business style has usually been hands-on.
Clive does business the way he wants to do business. The reason he's surrounded himself for so many years with family members, old school friends and trusted associates is that he knows that they know it's Clive's way. Everything is Clive's way. He micromanages right through to colour schemes of projects and brochures and things like that.
The other key player is Clive Palmer's nephew and Queensland Nickel director, Clive Mensink. But Mr Mensink has so far avoided scrutiny by the court. He's currently overseas on a Baltic cruise, somewhere between Helsinki and St Petersburg.
See ya.
Clive Palmer told court he didn't know when his nephew was returning to Australia. What do you think of the absence of Clive Mensink?
Nothing surprises me out of any of this, to be perfectly honest.
One of the operational issues under investigation is a series of payments from Queensland Nickel to other parts of the Palmer Empire, including Clive Palmer's largely defunct political party. And although he's now retired from politics, Clive Palmer has been using his court appearance to take on former political rivals, even accusing the Prime Minister of conspiring to stop banks from lending to him.
Clive's always known how to play the media. He's always known how to build a storyline or create an image around himself. And when he became a parliamentarian, it just gave him a different opportunity to do it. Some weeks he was a politician no longer involved in business. Other weeks he was a businessman first and foremost, and let's downplay the political side.
Please believe that someone cares.
But this case is not just about Clive Palmer. It's also about the recovery of public money and the lives of workers who want what's owed to them.
we're really desirous of seeing this conclude so that people can move on with their lives. And where responsibility sits, the law should ensure that people who are responsible, pay up.
God bless Australia.
Thank you, guys.